Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike. Oh my God. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to be talking about the week that was in pro wrestling. And honestly, it's going to be an interesting one. No Raw this week because I actually went to see a movie, so sorry about that. However, we're going to continue with NWA Power, which is definitely interesting. AEW Dynamite and their build to Double or Nothing, and TNA Wrestling. It's definitely going to be an interesting week, so let's get to it with NWA Power. We start off with a hype video for the main event, which is going to be Zion versus Mims, with the winner taking on Tom Latimer for the the national title at the Crockett Cup. That'll be important for a little later. I'll get to that. So we start off our first match with the Heavenly Butterflies, which I haven't seen them back in NWA in a while. Definitely good to see them against Fresh Faces, The Cheese, and yes, it's as goofy as it sounds, and Mike Orlando. Now, The Cheese, never seen him before in my life. He definitely likes using cheese as a weapon. Mike Orlando, I'm a bit more familiar with because I have seen him on certain independent promotions. So seeing him in the NWA here is very, very good. like almost right off the bat, Cheese gets in, throws a crap single cheese slice at one of the Heavenly Butterflies. This was a pretty gosh dang entertaining matchup, really good back and forth, especially when Mike Orlando came in. He is an really underrated wrestler. I'm glad he found his way to the NWA. Cheese and Orlando definitely with some good double team, including a fallaway slam into a DDT. Mike Orlando catching one of the Heavenly Butterflies going for a crossbody or whatever. Eats a spear. Cheese hitting a Feeling Cheesy, which that's a great name for a finisher for that team to pick up the win. I don't know if this technically qualifies them for the Crockett Cup itself, but I do feel like they're in pretty good contention. Speaking of the Crockett Cup, we then go to an interview not only with Knox and Murdoch, the winners from last year, but also the Immortals, that's Odinson and JR Kratos. With basically Murdoch and Cade, rest in peace. Murdoch and Knox pretty much saying, look, last year we won the whole thing. We expect to be in the top slot. And we've already run through every team NWA put in front of us. And we're about to kick ass again. So now we get a segment where Tom Latimer, our current national champion, and Kenzie Page, who is the women's champion, revealed the brackets for the actual Crockett Cup. Now, what this is an annual tournament for tag team wrestling. Some of the best tag teams in NWA come in. There has also been some outsiders. The Briscoes won one year. Obviously, Knox and Murdoch won last year. It's definitely been an interesting event for NWA. So let's go to the brackets. We start with 1 versus 16 at the top spot. Your NWA Tag Team Champions, Blunt Force Trauma. And they'll be taking on the 16 seed, which is currently open right now. I believe there's going to be a series of matches that'll fill in that part of the bracket. Then we go to the number 8 seed versus the number 9 seed. Number 8, we got the return of Jay Bradley and Wrecking Ball Legursky, the Fixers. I am surprised they haven't broken up yet, but I got a feeling they are about to. And the number 9 seed, very interesting, you got Judas teaming up with Max the Impaler, the unified television champion. So that's going to be an interesting little matchup. You got former United States Tag Team Champions Daisy Kill and Talos taking on a new team I don't think I've ever seen. I believe they are a part of the new NWA territories. It's the Stu Crew, Dylan and Zach Stewart. Definitely interested to see what they're all about. We now go to the 4 and the 13 seed, the Immortals, that's Kratos and Odinson, taking on NWA newcomers, the Kids, that's Alexander Lave and Jackson Drake. So good to see the Kids coming in. Then we go 6 and the 11 seed. The 6 seed are the Savages of Samoa. Never really heard of them. Although one member of the team is LA Smooth, an ECW original, teaming with I don't even know how to say that name. I'll learn it though. As they take on AJ and KC Kazana, aka the Country Gentlemen. Now this is where it gets kind of interesting, as the number 3 seed is the Southern Six. However, it is currently listed as all 3, so I think any combination of Kerry Morton, Alex Taylor, or Thrillbilly Silas Mason could team up as they take on the 14, the Slime Balls. That's Sage Chance and Tommy Rand. 7 and the 10 seed is also very interesting, as you got Tim Storm teaming up with Jack Stane. Good to see Tim Storm back in the ring. Taking on the Looks That Kill. That's Brian Idol and Natalia Markova. Our first woman competing in the Crockett Cup tournament. And finally, we got the 2 versus the 15 seed, as Knox and Murdoch, the defending Crockett Cup champions, take on the Miserably Faithful. That's Salvation and Gags the Gimp. Definitely an interesting combination of old and new teams. Gonna be interesting to see how this plays out, and who the wild card teams are gonna be. Anyway, so we get back to the interviewer. He then turns to the Immortals, who pretty much say, look, it's all good. We like our spot. While we should have been number 1, we've been on your heels since day 1, and we get to show you why we're the best in the business, and we're coming for you, and you know it. So that matchup is going to be awesome. I can't wait for that. Then we get a cut. We come back. It's Aaron Stevens' interview, hyping up Blunt Force Trauma as the number 1 seed. We hold the gold. We got the cup in our pocket. And feast your eyes on BFT, who are in the ring holding their titles. So, definitely going to be interesting to see how that plays out. And, yeah, I'm definitely hyped for the Crockett Cup. Speaking of the Crockett Cup, we got an interesting, I believe, matchup for the 16 seed. Although this is, I guess, a mini tournament, as the Spectaculars take on the Dungeon. Dungeon is definitely a little bit new. I believe they said they were trained in the Hart Family Dungeon, which is, it's intense. Now, the Spectaculars actually have a very kind of new combination going for them, as it's Slade, who is a recent addition, but instead of Rush Friedman, it's actually Brady Pierce, who was an original member of the Spectaculars. Then he turned heel. He got kicked out. Now he's back. So that's interesting. Spectaculars dominate for a while. However, the Dungeon, using a bit of their speed to gain an advantage, Fox goes for a sharpshooter, but that gets blocked. And actually, near the end, they go for a heart attack, which, very famous move by Jim the Anvil Neidhart and Bret the Hitman Hart. However, Rolando, who is on the outside managing, picks the foot of the one running the ropes. Slade with a big knee brings in Brady, and a big boot leg sweep combination for the win for the Spectaculars. I am definitely a little surprised the Spectaculars aren't currently a part of the announced Crockett Cup brackets, but I could see them sneaking into the 16 seed. Now, we then get an interview with the Spectaculars, mostly with Rolando, who has been the leader, who pretty much points out, you notice someone's missing, Rush isn't with us anymore, and he's been replaced with Pierce, and make sure we are coming for the cup. So, laser focused on the Crockett Cup, definitely going to be interesting. Then we got a nice little backstage promo from the women's tag team champions, the King Bees, pretty much saying, we're going to be defending our tag titles at the Crockett Cup. We're looking forward to a potential women's Crockett Cup, which I'm down. And go to the NWA website to see an exclusive title defense. Then we get an interesting little tidbit about the new NWA territories, which are little promotions all around under the NWA umbrella, a la the territory system back in like the 80s before, Vince brought the WWF promotion from his father and then went national and took over everything. So, it's nice to see NWA kind of expanding a little bit. So, that's pretty cool. Hopefully, we get to see more from these territories. I think that'd actually be kind of cool. Have certain showcase matches from those shows on Power. Or, to hell, even a different show. I think that'd be awesome. Anyway, we then go to our main event of the evening, as Zion takes on Mims to see who faces Tom Latimer at the Crockett Cup. And this match did start off a little slow. Definitely plenty of lockups and push-offs. Eventually they go for shoulder tackles. Mims blocking a hip toss. Mims definitely working a little bit more babyface these days, but that's alright. At one point, Zion whips Mims into the ropes, and then Austin Idol, who's ringside, gives him a little punch to the leg. Zion takes advantage, starts pretty much stomping a mud hole in him. Mims fights back a little bit, hits a big old hip attack in the corner, which that was a little wild. And Zion tries for a big old crossbody, gets caught right into a world's strongest slam, only for a 2 count. Mims tries for a big strong slam, but that gets countered by Zion, who then goes for a chop block. Zion then locks in the Las Vegas lock on Mims. Mims gets in the rope, rolls out of the hold. Mims starts to fight back a little bit. Mims tries for a superplex, but Idol grabs Mims by the leg, so that gets countered out. Zion then pushes Mims off the top rope. It's a crossbody, gets him back in the ring, gets a Z-clutch for your winner, and the new number one contender to the national title, it's Zion. Like I said at first, this match started off a little slow, but dang did it get good by the end. A little kind of abrupt ending for me, but honestly I enjoyed it. No real complaints here. Then we go to ringside with EC3, who has been on commentary for this match, making a big announcement saying at the Crockett Cup, I'm going to be defending my world title against Sam Adonis, which that's going to be a heck of a match. Calling Sam Mexico's greatest import. Now it's time to shine here in America, but you've got a hell of a hill to climb against the greatest wrestler on the planet. So, EC3 versus Sam Adonis. Now, on paper, doesn't seem like much of a matchup, but I am excited for it. I can't wait for this match. It's going to be fun. Overall, NWA was a solid show this week. Definitely gets me hyped for the Crockett Cup and seeing what other matches we see on this card. We then move on to AEW Dynamite, where we're starting off white hot, kind of, as Kyle Fletcher teams up with his old United Empire teammate, Jeff Cobb, to take on Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson. Now, as Moxley is making his entrance, as he climbs over the barricade, Fletcher and Cobb just start attacking him. Little mercies, I can't say that word. Anyway, as that beatdown is happening, out comes Bryan Danielson to make the save. He fights back on both of them. Moxley then gets up, hits a big old drop kick into the barricade. Then Cobb and Bryan get in the ring. Ding, ding, ding. Match starts, and they go right after each other. And I'm going to say this. Seeing Jeff Cobb take on Bryan Danielson, that is actually kind of insane. Anyway, Bryan and Mox then do some double teams, including a nasty wishbone on Mr. Cobb. Fletcher then wakes up from his nap. He gets involved, gets a tag in. He and Mox definitely have some great chemistry, and Bryan can pretty much have a match with anyone, and it'll be 10 stars. Cobb with a couple Uranagis to both members of the Blackpool Combat Club. He goes for a moonsault but misses, in which Moxley fights back. Fletcher with a heck of a Michinoku driver, only for a 2 count. The former United Empire guys go for a Doomsday device, but that gets countered out. Bryan with a Busaiku knee. There was another move I didn't catch. Moxley with a Paradigm Shift. And your winners, the Blackpool Combat Club. And as Mox is celebrating, he has the IWGP World title in his hand. Out comes Konosuke Takeshita and hits a big old suplex while Mox was on the turnbuckle. And as that's happening, Cobb and Fletcher start a beatdown on Bryan. And then out comes Claudio Castagnoli to make the save with the biggest, most ridiculous looking crowbar I've ever seen. He then runs off, Don Callis family plus Cobb. And, that's it. We then get a little hype video for Swerve Strickland versus Christian Cage. They're going to have a little talk a little later. Can't wait for that. Then we were about to get an Adam Copeland promo. However, on the ramp, he is attacked by Brody King and Buddy Matthews of House of Black. They take him down to the ring, continue a beat down. Brody King with a nasty looking crossbody, while Matthews gets a couple of chairs set up for the concerto. But then Malachi Black comes out. He has a microphone. He says, "I don't know why you keep up with this facade. Mr. Matthews, take his wedding ring." So Buddy Matthews takes off Adam Copeland's wedding ring, hands it to Malachi Black, and he's just kind of looking at it, Gollum style. And, and then a big old concerto attempt to Copeland. Out comes Kyle O'Reilly to try to make the save. Gets hit almost immediately with a "the end" from Malachi Black, leaving both men laying. And actually, before that happens, was an amazing triple finisher where Matthews and Malachi are both on the apron. Brody's in the ring on the other side. Malachi and Buddy hit a couple kicks, cross kicks to Copeland in the corner. And Brody King with a cannonball to finish. Dang, that was that was a heck of an effective segment. That match is going to be a brutal. We then see highlights of Eddie Kingston at New Japan Resurgence, including being taken out by the Elite, in which it is announced, Eddie Kingston's out of their match for Double or Nothing. We then get a promo from the Elite saying, "Oh, Eddie's out. Well, Double or Nothing, is Team AEW going to forfeit? Is it going to be 4-3? We don't know, but you guys got a decision to make." And look at our hit list. Week 1, we took out Tony Khan. Week after that, Kenny Omega. Last night, Eddie. We are the Elite. We run this place. And then they hand it over to Okada, who pretty much says, "Dax Harwood, tonight I'm kicking your ass, bitch." Short, sweet, to the point from the Elite, and also hyping up that main event, which we will get to. We then get the weirdest thing. Advertising Young Bucks sneakers, in which they have the old pump like the Jordans used to have. That was fun. That was honestly kind of funny looking. I might want to get those shoes, because money, it's gotta be the shoes. Then we go to an FTR promo saying, "Look, those are not our EVPs. We're still going to be in the match at Double or Nothing. And we're going to find our fourth for the matchup." And Okada, name calling isn't very nice, because obviously you're the Elite's bitch. Oh, I love AEW, man. It's so good. It's so mature, yet it acts kind of childish. It's a great contrast with certain characters. Then we go to this interesting little matchup, as the Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, take on Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal. It has been far too long since I've seen Christopher Daniels wrestle. And, yeah, Matt Sydal, really good teammate. This match was really, really fun. A lot of really good things coming in, including a teaser of the best moonsault ever, and it's no debate. But, Young Bucks end up countering it. Daniels came close to a couple of pinfalls, only for it to get broken up. And then Young Bucks hit the TK driver for the win. And as the Young Bucks are walking up the ramp, Nicholas has a microphone, pretty much says, "Look, Daniels, last week you spoke down to us. Heck, you even struck me. And you should obviously know better. We're trying to clean up the locker room and the offices for AEW. So we gotta be the bearer of bad news tonight. We gotta let you go. You're fired. However, we're not just letting you go empty-handed. We're gonna give you a nice severance package. However, we have to have security and escort you out of the building tonight." So that's what happens. Christopher Daniels gets escorted out. Then later on Twitter, I'm never calling it X, you had a very emotional promo by Christopher Daniels. Pretty much saying, the Young Bucks brought me in as a California boy. This has been the most stable job I've had. Sorry, TNA. And now you do me like this. I don't think this is going to be the end of Christopher Daniels in AEW, because he has another character waiting in the wings. And he's hot. He's spicy. He tastes great. Curry Man. I'd love to see Curry Man in AEW. That'd be so much fun. Anyway. After that, we got a Toni Storm interview, pretty much blaming Deep for putting her hands on Mariah May. And apparently it's revealed for tonight's match, May and Luther are banned from ringside. We'll get into that match a little bit. And Deep, thank you for knocking me out last week so I didn't have to listen to you again. And at Double or Nothing, you're going to get ready for a beating of a lifetime. So, I'm going to say this. Toni Storm talks way too quick for me to take notes. So, I'm doing my best with her. So, yeah, let's see what we got. We then get a Malachi Black promo. He still has Adam Copeland's wedding ring. Pretty much saying, these things, these smallest things, holding you back. It is a neat little trinket. And at the barbed wire cage match at Double or Nothing, I'm going to escape, except, however, if I beat you, you must bend the knee to the House of Black. So, we're getting that cage match for the TNT title. And as much as I've been liking Adam Copeland's run, I think Malachi Black needs this win. And so he can get some more singles matches in AEW. Because he definitely deserves more. We then get the return of Hook. I thought this was just going to be a promo. It is instead a match against Sebastian Wolf, a.k.a. Jobber of the Week. Hook gets a couple of suplexes, gets him in the crossface strikes. Red Rum for the submission victory. Hook then gets on the microphone, pretty much saying, "This isn't what I'm here for. I'm here for Chris Jericho and my FTW title." This brings out Jericho and Big Bill, with Chris Jericho still doing his meta thing, saying, "Hey guys, Happy to be here. Hey, how's it going? Then turning to Hook, pretty much saying, Hook, great to see you, my man. So great to have you back in the AEW. And I hope you learned some lessons while sitting at home on the couch. Then we get a small please retire to Chris Jericho, which personally I don't want, but then Jericho continues, look, I love being on Dynamite. I'm ready to share the spotlight with you, Hook. Then Hook interrupts saying, whoa, Jericho, I'm not here to share the spotlight. I want the spotlight all for myself while I'm kicking your ass while I win back the FTW title tonight. And of course that pops the crowd big. Jericho retorts, Hook, you obviously haven't learned much. This is definitely not a fighting moment. This is a teaching moment. And I need to teach you the world doesn't revolve around you. You need to think of others. And I obviously need to get these words right. We are here to entertain. Obviously, this is not the Hook title. This is for the world title. And I'm here to teach you a lesson that when you lose the title, you don't get to the front of the line. So on Collision, we're going to have a series of qualifying matches for you and some others. How does that sound to you? Hook replies, that sounds right to me. And then he just cold cock slaps Chris Jericho right in the face. Hook then gets right on top of Jericho, starts punching him a little bit. Then Big Bill comes over, pries Hook off of Chris Jericho. They double team him for a little bit. Then out comes Katsuyori Shibata for the save. Hook and Shibata, that's going to be an interesting little team. And it certainly fits better than Hook and Danhausen. That's for sure. Then we get a backstage promo with Swerve Strickland, our AEW World Champion, saying, last week, I ended the legacy of the Embassy. I'm here to focus on Double or Nothing. But tonight, I gotta go through Brian Cage and finally put the nail in the coffin of the Embassy. And Christian, I was the one who got put in the coffin at Double or Nothing, I put you in a grave. Swerve is so good, man. Like, it's amazing the evolution of this character. And now he's more of a tweener, kind of siding on babyface. It's been great. And then speaking of great, we have this next match as Swerve Strickland takes on Brian Cage. And this match was absolutely awesome. You had the contrast of Brian Cage's power versus Swerve's finesse and speed. At one point, Brian Cage hits a big old military press slam on Swerve. Goes a couple of times for a power bomb that gets blocked. Swerve with an adrenaline surge, only for a 2 count. Swerve goes for a springboard DDT that gets caught into a brainbuster for only a 2 count. Brian Cage goes for Weapon X that gets countered into a roll through, into an armbar, but eventually Cage breaks out. Cage with an F5, only for a 2. Goes for the drill claw. Swerve with a roll through into a headbutt. Eventually both go to the outside. Swerve with a stomp from inside the ring to Cage, who was hanging onto the bottom rope, which that was absolutely sick. Swerve then gets him back in. Goes for the arm snap, which that's a dirty move, into the I call it a drive-by. I know it's called something else. I do apologize for that. For the win for our world champion, Swerve Strickland. Then Swerve gets a couple of chairs. Looks like he's going to go for a concerto on Brian Cage. Then out comes Christian Cage and Mama Wayne on the stage. Cage has a microphone. It looks like he's about to talk. Then Nick Wayne from behind hits a big old low blow to Swerve. Then out comes Killswitch, who joins in on the beatdown. Then for whatever reason, Nick Wayne picks up a photo of Swerve and his family. Which, that's a weird one. And then Nick Wayne hits Swerve with the photo. Then Christian Cage finally speaks. He says, "Last year you embarrassed my son Nick Wayne in his own home. And now I'm forced to embarrass you. You think your daughter is proud of the man you've become?" Then he takes the photo, wipes Swerve with it, who is gushing blood. Almost a la Jon Moxley. And then Christian Cage finally says, "Tonight, I took your blood. At Double or Nothing, I take your title." So, definitely a very interesting development in this rivalry. I'm interested to see where they go. Then it's announced Renee Paquette and RJ City are having their own new show on, I believe it's going to be YouTube. And it's going to be a cooking show with wrestlers. Okay. Yeah, I'm down. Okay. Then we get a Hook/Shibata interview. With Hook pretty much saying, "Look, the odds of me being outnumbered mean less to me. No matter what Jericho throws in front of me, I want another shot at Jericho." Then Shibata, via his phone translator, says, "What about me?" And then Hook has a stare down with him. I want some revenge on Jericho too. So they kind of have a stare down for a minute. In comes Samoa Joe with the biggest, most floral shirt I've ever seen. And, I definitely own some. So, I should know. Then Samoa Joe pretty much says, "Look, you two are obviously falling into this trap again. If you both weren't so stupid, you'd be dangerous around here," and walks off. This obviously angers Hook a little bit. Then Shibata, via his phone, pretty much says, "That man's too big to be wearing floral patterns." Which, that definitely got a pop out of me. How is Shibata so charismatic talking through his phone? That is hilarious. Anyway, we go to our single women's match of the evening, as it's women's champion Timeless Toni Storm taking on Harley Cameron. And I'm going to say this was Harley Cameron's best match to date. Did Toni Storm lead a little bit more? Obviously, because she's one of the best. But Harley definitely looked really, really good, including hitting a Fez press, which don't see that every day. Then about halfway through, Serena Deeb comes out on the stage. She's just kind of smiling like a Cheshire cat. Harley Cameron with an Eat Defeat, which I haven't seen that as a finisher in a while. Eventually, Toni Storm does take back an advantage, hits a takedown. They both go for combination roll-ups. Eventually, Storm has control, hits a Storm Zero for the win. So, yeah, that's definitely going to be an interesting women's title match, which has all the possibility of stealing the show. Next up, we go backstage for an interview with the Undisputed Kingdom, minus Adam Cole, and Will Ospreay. With Will saying, look, the world's eyes are on me, but I got a sour taste in my mouth. Roddy, you've been so comfortable around here with that title and your goons. And then last week you choked me out. You attacked me. You're just playing mind games. And I did the Tiger Driver on people I respect. But I obviously don't respect you. You've always looked down on me. Even since our Ring of Honor days, in which apparently Roddy Strong talked massive amounts of shit to Will Ospreay in Ring of Honor, which, yeah, that's interesting. Anyway, Roddy retorts, yeah, I don't respect you. You've always been so good inside the ring, but outside you've been an idiot, you've been a little child. You don't deserve this title. I've worked my butt off for this, and I know who you really are. You're a fraud, you're a coward, you're a child. Then Will retorts, it's going to be so sweet to take what means the most to you. I'll see you at Double or Nothing. A nice, easy to digest promo, dueling interview from the two of them. Then we go to the TBS title match contract signing for Double or Nothing with Mercedes Moné, the challenger, and Willow Nightingale, the champion. So Willow gets on the microphone and says, so, CEO, obviously I respect you, but I need to know, do you respect this? The TBS title, which celebrates the legacy of wrestling here on TBS. It's been built on hard work, and it's about making a name for yourself. Something my partner, Chris Statlander, knows all about. And this is what I represent. And obviously on my Tron, it says, nothing matters, smile anyway. And that's what I do over all this doom and gloom. Because this title is what matters to me. And I'm not letting you walk into AEW and take it from me. Then Will just signs on the dotted line. That was a heck of a promo from Willow. Holy cow. Then we go to Mercedes, who pretty much starts off, his stable belongs to the CEO. And talk about, you want to talk about legacy to me? Nothing changes the fact that while you were here, while you were training, I was taking things to the next level in the women's division. You wouldn't be here without me. And there's a difference between being great and being the greatest of all time. And you're looking at the new face of TBS. And you've been seeing me at the Kentucky Derby, throwing out the first pitch at baseball games, courtside at basketball games, and at Double or Nothing, while you beating me in New Japan was your greatest moment, at Double or Nothing, you losing to me is going to be the best part of your moment. And my legacy is all about winning. So then Mercedes signs. Then Willow gets in one last dig. With Willow saying, the last time that we met, I walked out as champ. You didn't work out at all. And then Mercedes slaps Willow Nightingale. picks up the TBS title, goes for a title attack, misses. Then Willow grabs Mercedes and power bombs her through the table. That was a segment Willow definitely needed. Because more than likely she's losing that title to Monet. No offense, Willow. I've loved your reign as a fellow Long Islander. But it's definitely Monet's time. And now we got our main event of the evening. And it's for the Continental title. As Dax Harwood takes on challenger Kazuchika Okada. And oh boy, this match absolutely freaking rocked. If there's one match you're going to try go out and watch for yourself, I can't recommend this one enough. They threw everything at each other, including a bunch of sharpshooters, pile drivers. Dax ducked a Rainmaker attempt. Then, right at the end, Okada, who gets out of a sharpshooter, goes to the announce table, grabs his title, tries to walk out, and Dax stops him, throws him back in the ring, and as Dax is getting in, Okada kicks the ropes between his legs. Rainmaker, your winner, Kazuchika Okada. And I'm going to say this, that was a brilliant heel move by Okada. And again, this was a heck of a match. Post-match, out comes the rest of the Elite, Matthew, Nicholas, and Jack Perry. The beatdown on Dax continues. Then Bryan Danielson and Cash Wheeler make out to make the save. The Elite numbers are too great because it's 4-on-3. Who makes his comeback but Darby Allin, who has his skateboard and fights off the Elite. What's crazy about that is one, he has a broken ankle. I'm surprised he's healed that much from it. And two, while he was healing for that, in New York City, brother got hit by a bus. Like, how are you here? This is nuts. And of course we heard, he's not 100%, but at Double or Nothing, he's going to pull off something nuts. Like, it's great to see Darby Allin back. He's a great fit for Team AEW, for Anarchy in the Arena, as a replacement for Eddie Kingston. So, overall, I'm happy. Definitely a very mixed bag of for AEW this show. Next week is the Go Home, in which something's gonna go down. I got a good feeling. So that was Dynamite. We now finish up with TNA Wrestling. And oh boy, this main event. I'm just gonna throw this out there. But first, we got our first match of the night, as it's Ash by Elegance taking on Xia Brookside for possession of Ash by Elegance's, bejeweled brass knuckles. And actually, before the match starts, Ash by Elegance's concierge rips open his suit, tries to be the referee for the match, but the current ref's like, no, get out of here. Xia tries for a couple of roll-ups, but that gets countered. Neat little gator roll, which that was impressive. Xia with a Thez press. And they just pretty much throw everything at each other. But then Ash by Elegance with a big old DDT. The Rarefied Air, aka the Swanton Bomb. And your winner, Ash by Elegance. I don't know. It was a weird match. I know Ash is very limited in the ring, but I feel like she's gotten better that we don't have to do these like short kind of nothings. Anyway, so Ref is trying to give Ash her bejeweled knuckles back. Then the concierge is like, no, she should give them to her, Ash. Talking about Xayah. So the Ref hands Xayah Brookside the brass knuckles. And then Xayah puts them on. Cold cocks Ash by Elegance with a big old punch. And, yeah, that's definitely a very interesting, hopefully way to end this feud. Because I need Xayah in something a little bit more significant than playing around with Ash by Elegance. No offense to Ash by Elegance. Then we go backstage. It's a Rosemary promo in which apparently Havoc is gone. Her usual tag partner. She pretty much says others taking sanctuary in the dark. They can't claim to be the heart and the soul of TNA. And comes a time when you must give up all your attachments. Havoc, Valkyrie, the Bunny, which, oh dang. They've done nothing but hold us down. And once you're free of those bonds, you're free to do anything. Oh, I hope this means a Rosemary singles push, or at the very least, Allie comes back to TNA, maybe teams up with Rosemary again. Then we got Kushida. He's not looking so well in the locker room. In comes Santino Marella. They're talking about their interactions with Jonathan Gresham, in which Santino said, as soon as I shook his hand, I didn't feel so good. Are you still good for your match on Explosion? Kushida's like, yeah, I should be fine. So we'll get to that little thing in a little bit as we go to our next match, which is Alan Angels taking on Leon Slater. And this match started off white hot. They definitely went a little back and forth. Middle of the match, Ref starts kind of looks like he's about to throw up. He rolls out of the ring and he spits up black ink. Because he had an interaction with Gresham as well. So other refs are coming out. Few of them are checking on the original ref. Then there's another ref in the ring continuing officiating this current matchup. Definitely some more back and forth, including a blocked superplex into a Swanton 450 by Leon Slater to pick up the win. I do wish the focus of this match was more on Slater and Angels instead of the ref. But I do understand it's part of Gresham's storyline, in which hopefully there's more to come. Post-match, out comes Khan, does the neck snap to Angels because of the interaction with Angels on his show. Leon Slater tries to fight off Khan. Khan tries to go for a choke slam, that gets blocked. Slater with a couple of kicks and then a clothesline over the top. That pisses off Khan, who then neck snaps at security guard. Leon Slater and Khan situation. Never thought I'd see this program coming up, but yeah, at least it's something for Leon Slater. Then we get an on the stage interview with Jake something. He talks about the origin of his name. Pretty much like, when I first came to TNA, I was someone I wasn't trying to be. But now I'm something. And then he goes a little bit at the interviewing saying, you're trying to mock me because of my name, because I have a couple of losses, and ask the people here, because Cody Deaner had that loss. And almost immediately, out comes Cody Deaner, pretty much saying, look, I see that you're mad. Don't be mad at these people. Obviously, you know our history, because we're cousins. You're angry at the people of your past. And you now you amount to something. And these people out here are here for you. And I'm with you too. And then Jake something brings up Cody Deaner turning on Jake something to join Violent by Design, which Cody Deaner says, look, you got every right to be angry at that. I'm sorry. At the time I was going down a very dark path. And I see you right now going down the same path. But no, we will always be family. And then Jake finishes, the hell I will. And then Jake just starts beating down Cody Deaner. A Jake something heel turn was definitely something I didn't see coming. But I think it's going to be interesting and maybe something Jake maybe needed. We then go backstage for an interview with Speedball Mountain, who are facing each other next week. With Speedball saying to Trent, ever since we became tag team partners, we've been representing the best of wrestling. And all of our performances has gotten us close to the top. And while we all both have some weird paths, we are now reaching a crossroads starting next week. And may the best man win. So, nice easy setup for next week, which is a number 1 contenders match for the X Division title. That should be absolutely great. We then get Frankie Kazarian taking on Steve Maclin. And these two threw everything at each other, including a couple of scuds by Steve Maclin. He was about to hit the crosshairs, but that he missed. Frankie Kazarian going for a fade to black on the apron. That gets blocked. Maclin going for a KIA. That gets blocked. And then Maclin gets backdropped off the apron. He then beats the 10 count. They go back and forth for a bit, including Maclin with a jar headbutt, which is a great name for a finish. Frankie Kazarian with the chicken wing. Maclin goes for a roll-up, only for a 2 count. Maclin blocks a flux capacitor on the top rope. Maclin sets up for the crosshairs, but then Trey Miguel distracts Maclin on the apron. He walks off. Ref kind of gets in his face. Then Zachary Wentz gets behind Maclin. Spray paint right to the face to Maclin. Kazarian gets back in. Fade to black. Your winner, Frankie Kazarian. And whoop. That was a heck of a match. Rascal's getting some revenge on Maclin. Definitely going to be an interesting story going forward between these 4. Then we see a little vignette with Giselle Shaw and Gail Kim talking up at the retreat Shaw has been up in. With Gail Kim saying, look, you disappeared after 1 loss. If I had quit after every setback, I wouldn't be the best at all time. And I can understand refocusing, but it all means nothing if you're not focused on something. Now, everyone obviously needs a guiding hand. And then Shaw asked, where are you trying to guide me? Home. Oh, Gail Kim mentoring Giselle Shaw? That's going to be something. I can't wait for that. We then go to the rest of the Mike Santana sit-down interview. With Santana pretty much saying, look, I spent my entire life trying to help others. I lived in survival mode, and I've walked through life with the world on my back. You tend to break down. Now, at Christmas time, my daughter wanted me to stop. And obviously, I've given her a very comfortable life and not going to change my life unless I get it together. I'm thankful for my daughter for that moment. And I need to get to where I want to be and fight for everything that matters. I've obviously made it through the past year. I asked for my release from AEW. I was granted it. And now nothing can stop me here in TNA. And then the interviewer asks about his situation with Maclin. Mike Santana says, I have a ton of respect for Steve Maclin. I knew what I was getting into once I came back. And he was the fight I was looking for. I made my statement. And now there's a target on everyone's back. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to take spots. And yeah, that's where it ends. So, nice fired up promo from Mike Santana. Hopefully we get to see some more matches from him, because he's really, really good in the ring. We then get to First Class. They're up in the VIP seats. And they pretty much say, First Class, we're scouting for gold. Because more gold means more money. Money. Yeah. We then go to our very, very chaotic main event, as it's a 16-person tag team match, playa. As it's the team of the champions, so that's Moose, Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, Alicia Edwards, Masha Slamovich, Jordan Grace, Mustafa Ali, and Laredo Kid, taking on a team of all-stars. That's Matt Hardy, Ryan Nemeth, Nick Nemeth's little brother, Sami Callihan, Spitfire, the former tag team champions, Steph Talander, God, who am I missing? Eric Young. I know I'm missing a ton more people, but let's just say this was absolute freaking chaos. It was completely almost impossible to keep track of. But one thing that made it a little easier is that there's a ruling. Only 3 people can be on the apron at one time to tag in. So they rotate in and out, which has made it a lot easier to keep track of. At one point, you see the system, that's Moose, Myers, and Edwards, tagging in and out between each other to take on Nemeth. And at all points, Ali was trying to tag in. Eventually, he does get in, but then he bails out of the ring, goes over to the announcer, pretty much saying, at this point, I would like to say, I am withdrawing myself from this match. Have a good one. So the champions are at a disadvantage. Champions doing everything in their power to win their match. However, in comes Joe Hendry, the local hero. Near the end, everyone hits a finisher, including Hendry, with a standing ovation for the win for the All-Stars. Like I said, this match was absolute chaos. If you want to go see it, go for it. It was kind of a rough watch. Then, all of a sudden, lights go out. PCO comes out with his full entrance. He has a black bag of something. He gets in the ring, clears the All-Stars and targets Steph De Lander. Then he's like, oh, hold on. He's digging in his black bag, pulling out some random stuff, including like a staple gun, maybe some thumbtacks and whatever. Then he takes out single black rose, hands it to Steph De Lander, who's like, okay. She's not sure what's going on. I'm kind of not sure what's going on there. But this little thing could be interesting. It also could be on the level of Cody Deaner and ODB. That whole relationship, if you remember that. So, yeah, pretty gosh darn entertaining episode of TNA. Overall, very fun week of pro wrestling. Now we get into the nitty gritty tonight with SmackDown. We have King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring tournaments going on. We got Collision and Rampage tomorrow. Definitely going to be a fun couple of days. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Till next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.